Hello and welcome to another Kyle Connor YouTube channel video. In the last episode, we talked about I needed to buy a truck. I went through, should I buy a Ford Super Duty, a GMC or Chevy 3500 heavy duty truck, or a Ram with the new generation stuff in it. And I needed to get a new truck to move cars around for our Out of Spec business, and so I needed it to be reliable, and I wanted it to have some great technology and features to compare it to other trucks. And I'm happy to report in this episode, I've come to a decision, I've come to a conclusion, and I'm here to pick up our new heavy duty pickup truck. So it's not this, it's over there. So guys, I am here in Texas. I'm actually in Longview, Texas, East Texas, where we are taking delivery of our new Ford F-350 Super Duty. And I want to walk you through why I made the decision to go for a Ford over a Chevy or a Ram real quick. But I think before I do all of that, I want to reveal to you our new car hauler, my new truck, which I'm just thrilled that I found this example. But when I posted that video on this channel talking about what I should get, I had a few different options from each brand in mind, but this was the specific Ford I really wanted. Actually, I really wanted an F-450 with the wide front axle, good steering ratio, but to stay compliant from a gross combined vehicle weight rating between this and my trailer, I had to find a truck that didn't have that much that high of a GVWR. So this is 12,000 pound GVWR matched with my trailer that I told you about. I will be at 26,000, which is 1 pound below needing a CDL. And I am thrilled to present to you my new truck. It is a 2024. Yes, I went and found sort of new old stock, a leftover 2024, one of the last maybe handful in the entire country, 2024 F-350 high output with the red badge right there, indicating the high output, 1,200 pound-feet of torque, 6.7 liter diesel, turbo diesel engine, and it is a limited trim. And I love the limited trim because of this interior. Check this out, guys. Massaging, fold flat seats, driver and passenger, beautiful roof. This thing is kitted with every single feature and option you could imagine. We have to do a little stuff. For example, I hate all this like brush stuff, so we're going to black out the truck and kind of dial it in. Power running boards, so sick. I've got the gooseneck prep kit already in here that came with the limiteds. We've got the 2.5-inch receiver back here, which will be great for our bumper pull trailer. I really hate that this is all chrome, but I'm just thrilled to present to you. This is my first time seeing the truck, this 2024 F-350. Man, super cool. So now that you know what I got, let me explain to you why I chose Ford, why the overwhelming comments from your side was to go with Ford over GMC or Ram. That was sort of the general consensus across everyone. Obviously, there's always fan favorites across everything, but a lot of you guys said go for the Ford, and I agreed, and I have now purchased this truck. Actually, I have to go inside and purchase it, but I got to write him a check. Got my certified check with me. Got to go hand it over, but I wanted to look at this thing first, and I've already had it in for service. I'll explain why. They were confused as well. But yes, this is our new freaking sick Super Duty. Man, I am pumped about this thing. Dang. Trucks, there's always one view. It's like you could get a work truck with no options, or you can get like a Luxo truck. This can do everything a work truck can do. It's just nice. It's got the Bang & Olufsen Unleashed big boy sound system. Beautiful seats that pop up so the dogs can go back here. I've already ordered a couple modifications for it as well, such as a high idle switch, because I'm going to be leaving the dogs in here with AC ripping, and I don't want to leave this thing idling for too long. Diesels hate to idle. So we'll have the high idle switch. Oh my God. And I've also ordered, this is the ugliest thing in the world, this front valance. I don't care what kind of fuel economy I lose. I'm putting the Tremor front valance on this thing. It's just going to help a ton. Needs different wheels, but that's the thing with Super Duties. The aftermarket is crazy. We don't need to go hardcore. This is really meant to be a working vehicle. We're just going to finesse it a little bit, dial it in as I do with many of my cars, black out all this stuff up here, and then we're going to have ourselves one hell of a tow rig for the next many years. This truck hopefully will be with us for a long time, provide many years of service, and we are going to take care of it. and I'm so thrilled, absolutely thrilled with it, and so thrilled that it was left over on the lot. Wow, so cool. I'm absolutely excited. If you can't tell, we have 2 kilowatts of power with Pro Power on board. We've got the, if you look under here, whoop, the like camera trailer system situation, so I can do the like knob with the backup. I'm old school, I'll just back up the trailer remotely, but I can put blind spot monitoring and cameras on the trailer, and I think that's kind of nice, especially with such a big car hauler, which you guys will see in the next episode after this one. But I got my truck, and now we got a road trip into Georgia in this episode, so we're gonna get it all set up. I'm gonna tell you why I bought this thing, and then we're going on our first road trip. All right, guys, about 45 minutes has gone by. I'm guessing, just signed for it. There was a little bit of a line. This Peltier Ford selling a ton of cars here on this Saturday. So I had to wait in line to pay for this thing. A totally different experience than just accepting it in the Tesla app. But that's okay. We're going old school with the buying experience. I have to say, everyone here was pretty nice. No complaints about the buying experience. They took reasonable care of me. I wouldn't say it was like the best, most memorable buying experience, but I bought a Ford truck. So what am I here to expect? I thought it was totally adequate, and I'd be happy to buy another truck from them or car from them if they had one in stock. So that's my review of the Peltier Ford. Really like them. Yeah, so this truck is officially the Out of Spec Studios truck. Needed that tax write-off this year, of course, so that doesn't hurt. And hell yeah, we've got storage around here. So what we've got to do is we've got to set this thing up, and then we're going to head out on a road trip for, you know, tons of miles. Going to get this thing broken in, and should be fun. Most important item. Oh, it's officially a used truck. Holy smokes. And I've got Android Auto pulled up here because I'm playing around with it. Some of you guys know I got an Android phone for my work phone, and I've never used Android Auto until now, so I'll be able to play around with it. We've got Luke Bryan on the radio. What the heck? Anyway, we can play around with all this stuff as we go. So why is it popping up? Oh, I hate that already. I'm going to go through and set everything, but the first thing we have to do in any Ford product is turn off this stupid ass touchscreen beep. Every time you touch it, it beeps. I don't understand why. I don't touch my phone and it beeps every single time. So annoying. Thankfully, you can turn it off, and now it's functioning as it should. Well, guys, you joined me in the new truck for the first time, and we're gonna go for a drive. This is where I'm gonna tell you why I chose this truck, a little bit of the backstory, but I wanted to include you for my first ever drive of this thing. And we've got 24.6 miles on the odometer. It's time to go. We've got 771 miles until we get to the spot where we're gonna pick up the trailer. And I would like to put a little bit more miles on that before I load it up and tow with it. Ford recommends 1,000 miles break-in before towing. Our first drive in the new truck. Holy smokes. We got the 10-speed automatic. That's just awesome. It does a great job. And you know what? I forgot to tell you all about the spec on this truck. So before we go for the first drive, I'm going to go and insert a clip, me explaining everything this truck has on it. So it's time to reveal the full spec, which I have the window sticker right here, and also a bit of the deal and a little bit of why I went for a 2024 instead of a 2025, or even ordering a 2026, because Ford is making 2026 Super Duties, and I'm buying a 2-model-year-old vehicle. There are a couple reasons. Normally, I like to be on the bleeding edge, but in this case, I think I made the right choice. So let's first start with the spec, which I will overlay the window sticker on this video here. But essentially, we've got the limited trim, which comes with everything. So we're talking 6.7 high output. That's 500 horsepower, 1,200 pound-feet of torque. Amazing. Biggest, most powerful engine in the heavy-duty truck segment. Love that. And so that was a real driver for me. I just love to have as much power as possible. And the limited trim was only offered maybe for 23 and 24, but I think 24 for sure, and not in 25. And so they've replaced the limited trim with the Platinum Plus. When this, in 2024, they had the basically King Ranch Platinum Limited, and then for 25, they erased limited from F-150 and Super Duty and just went Platinum Plus. And I didn't love the interior as much, and they're also decontented a little bit in 2025. So the total MSRP of this truck, not what I paid, is $100,790. $100,000 truck, crazy. Now, that's 20 grand less than I spent on the Cybertruck. So, and it's a way more capable truck in terms of long distance and towing and hauling. So that's great. But in terms of options on this particular truck, there are only 2 paid options above what comes in the Limited. And I'll tell you some of the things I wish it had, but I'm glad this came with a couple things. So the first is the 331 electronic locking axle. I'm glad we at least have a locker on the rear end. I probably would not have chosen the 331. I would have gone for the 355, which is a little bit shorter gear ratio, which means I'd be a couple hundred RPM higher with the 355, but it would be great for towing in the mountains. And I did a little research and I did some thinking. We're talking a couple hundred RPM difference at 70 miles an hour. And this thing makes 1,200 pound-feet of torque. I think it's going to be totally fine. From folks that I've talked to that have driven both, they can't even tell the difference. And I probably would have spec'd, like I mentioned, the 355, but the 331 is so close. And because we have so many ratios to choose from on the 10-speed, I was okay with it. I would not have been okay with it if it didn't have a locker on the rear or a limited slip or something. But here we've got a physical locker, can hit the button, which is great, and I'm really happy with that. Another key important is when you go for crew cab, small box, 6 3/4 foot small box, 350, you get the 12,000 pound GVWR, which that's why we needed to come in this spec to match with the weight with the trailer. I mentioned that already. And then I was really happy to see that it had the roof clearance lights. It's only a $95 option, but I probably would not have bought the truck if it didn't have the roof clearance lights. Just those orange bars across the top at night makes all the difference. It should be standard. I'm so glad whoever spec'd this spent the $95 to get the roof clearance lights. Now, what is missing that I would really want? Well, the 355 axle. If you park 2 trucks next to each other, one had 355, I'd be going with that. And the FX4 package would have been nice as well. Skid plate underneath, a little bit different damper, shock tuning, but I'm not exactly sure what. So that would have been really nice to see there as well. And other than those components, that's really it. What's interesting is the history of this truck before I bought it, actually. So it was originally sold to Skalneck Ford in Lake Orion, Michigan. And then somehow it was dealer traded or transferred all the way down to Longview, Texas, which it's been at Longview for 240 days, I think. It's been there for a long time, sitting on the lot. And I believe this truck and many other 24s were sitting on the lot, not able to be sold because of a recall. And what's funny is I loaded up the Ford Pass app and it had showed 3 previous service histories item. The first was a glass related item. And you may notice in a couple clips the headliner looks a little bit off. I'm thinking maybe something hit and nicked the sunroof. And the headliner's drooping in the center. I didn't notice it until after I left the dealership. I haven't called them yet, but I'll call them Monday morning and be like, hey, I also got the photos while I was at the dealer, but the headliner's messed up. And there was a service request for some glass replacement when it was in Lake Orion, Michigan. I just didn't notice it until after I'd left and post some pictures on my Facebook page or Instagram, and someone was like, dude, what's up with the headliner? I'm like, oh no, ruined headliner, and I didn't catch it. You really got to do thorough inspections before you take delivery. That's on me, but I still think they should fix it. But we'll see. I'm going to bring it up to them, and I think they need to fix that. The second service item was some recall, which is why I believe it was held and not able to be sold for so long, because it's a desirable truck. It just, probably couldn't be sold for a while. And then the third service item was yesterday. Was me, actually. I called and I said, hey, I'm about to buy this truck, but it's produced about a year or even over a year ago. I'd like to get some fresh oil in there. And that's before I had eyes on the truck. I didn't know how many idle hours it had. And I just thought, a year of cold starts and shut off, cold starts and shut off. I worried about some fuel diluting the oil, and it's a brand new truck in break-in period. I'm like, just do the oil change. I paid for it. They didn't offer to cover it or anything. They didn't need to. It wasn't per manufacturer spec. Technically, I think the way Ford works is your oil change timing starts when you take delivery, but that's not when the oil was put in the vehicle. It was put in the vehicle at time of manufacture. So anyway, for peace of mind, I did an oil change before I took delivery of this truck. And to me, that feels great. And then as soon as I can after this road trip, I'm going to also get all the break-in oil out and, just then run probably 5,000 or 7,500 mile intervals for oil changes. That seems reasonable to me. And, so it's a $100,000 truck, but here's what I paid. The couple reasons why I wanted a 24. A, the limited trim, love it. Came with everything, had the, extra camera on the tailgate, had the keypad that they got rid of on the side of the truck. It's just, for 25 and 26, they got more expensive and less content. So I was interested in a new 24. And secondly, for all 2024 Fords, or at least most of them, Ford was offering employee pricing, A-plan pricing, which is amazing. So I got about $10,000 off the price of this truck. And the dealer contributed a little bit to that. They probably came about $1,000 off, something like that. And then, basically I paid about $91,000 for it. And it's a $101,000 truck. So I was really thrilled with the deal because used ones are going for more money or close to the money with a ton of miles that I just paid for a brand new truck. So I feel pretty good about the purchase. I mean, I'm not here to say this is a cheap truck. This is an expensive luxury truck, but we're going to hold on to it for a while. There are some tax benefits to buying a heavy truck like this from a business perspective as well. So that's great. That's why it's registered to the business. And, I think we're incredibly grateful in order to have the opportunity to get this truck. And it really comes down to our Out of Spec viewers and maybe one day the viewers to this channel as well, if we keep making videos here. This is crazy that we're able to buy a $90,000 truck just to move cars around. That has not gone over my head. It's a real pinch me moment. It's also a moment we need this to make more videos. So it is sort of a propeller wheel. You got to spend money to make money. But it wouldn't be possible without our viewers at all. So with that, I think that's the deal. That's the truck. That's why I went for a 24. Let's get back to my first drive ever in our new F-350 Super Duty. Well, now that you know the spec and what the heck we're driving, let's go drive it for the first time and tell you a little bit about my methodology on breaking this truck in and really breaking any vehicle in. Especially with the diesel, I really want to avoid idle times and I really want to avoid sitting at constant speed on the highway. So we're going to be working on basically seating the piston rings, getting the rear differential, to get seated in properly and not going crazy fast, not ripping on it, just driving it generally normally. Now, we do have a lot of highway miles ahead of us, but I'll probably take some exits, drive some back roads, and overall just vary the RPM, vary the speed, vary the load, get the engine into some boost, get it into some vacuum, and that is the best way to break in one of these trucks. You really just kind of want to drive them varied at light to medium throttle, and you can get a little bit more aggressive as you get through the break-in period. We are also not going to be running any fuel additives, like lubrication additives, for the first tank on this truck. Ford recommends specifically to not do that so that you can basically seat everything in with no extra lubrication, because you actually are going to have the most amount of friction on the truck right now. So that's something to really think about. Some people don't care about break-in. I do. I want this truck to last for a long time. And, maybe it's a little bit of old wives' tale action. It may not do anything. It may do a lot, but it certainly doesn't hurt to break it in just driving normally, especially at varied load and stuff. But wow, just driving this thing feels amazing. It's huge. It's got a great interior. Let's kick on that massaging seat. You can tell it's a body on frame heavy duty truck, a lot of shaking going on, but that's what you get with these things. And man, I've always wanted a big diesel pickup truck. I'm so glad that I got this thing. I can't wait to tow with it. That's all I want to do is put a big ass trailer on this thing. Now, oh my gosh, there's the 350 and the 80 PSI we have in the rear tires. I need to check the door card to see what the OE spec is for the tires on it. But man, I am just couldn't be more thrilled with the truck. I love this 2024 Platinum, like I'm sure I've explained to you. This is the spec to have. So while we're just cruising around, I'm not actually even going to jump on the highway. I'm just going to cruise around here in Longview, Texas for a little bit. I thought, let's just talk about why I went for the Ford. Well, first of all, I mentioned you guys in the previous video overwhelmingly said go for Ford. And I'm like, okay, I kind of already had this truck in mind. but that just sealed the deal. As soon as I saw the comments on that video starting to pour in, I was like, dude, done. We're coming tomorrow to pick this truck up. And that's basically how it happened. I kind of already had, not a deposit on it, but already had the deal kind of sorted for this thing. And I was leaning this way, and you guys just confirmed the decision that going forward made all the sense in the world. But that's not to say the other trucks are bad. We had a lot of people saying Ram was a great choice, a beautiful looking truck, great interiors, that Cummins engine. Well, we don't know about this Cummins engines and the new 8-speed for 2025, but in general, they are just workhorses. And I was talking to my buddy Danny, who's normally our car hauler and moving a lot of stuff around for us. He's like, dude, when I look at the other hotshot drivers on the road, they're using Fords and Rams. And very rarely do you see a Chevy or GMC hotshot. You do see them, but rarely. I'm like, you know what? That's a good point. That's what actually gave me a little bit of confidence with Ram, but I just don't think I could bring myself to do the Stellantis thing for a new model year. Given some of their other products, it was just a little scary to spend that much money on a new Ram for an unproven product on a truck that needs to work for me. So then, you know, the whole GMC thing came up, and I thought that was the best looking truck. Yeah, I didn't love the seats in it. The seats in this are amazing. I'm so comfortable in this. Can't wait to really get dialed in over time. But, you know, I thought the GMC looked amazing. I love the 6.6 liter Duramax. I think, you know, GM's doing a great job, but even you guys really commented a lot on the reliability. Now, whether that's rooted in fact or fiction, still just the air of bugs and emissions related issues and other stuff on the GM things kind of swayed me away. And honestly, the biggest sway was the lane centering. The fact that this truck has Copilot 360 and will do lane centering and stay in the middle of its lane, which it is doing lane keeping system on. Let's see if we can turn it on. Let's see. Uh-oh. Watch this not actually have it. That would be hilarious. Maybe we just need to have double lanes on each side. Nope, there it goes. Now it's lane centering. So the fact that this truck can do lane centering, especially on the highway, is such a huge selling point for me because, look, I don't mind having to drive. I love to drive. But there's times where I just kind of want to sit back, keep my hand lightly on the wheel like it's asking me to do there, and just let this thing cruise. And so that was the real big selling point for this truck, was the ability of all the highway miles I'm going to be able to do with it. So that's why I went for the Ford, and specifically, if you guys watched the previous video, the reason I went for the 350 was this is the highest GVWR truck, so the most capable truck in terms of weight plus payload I can tow with the trailer I just bought without being overweight for CDL. And it's pretty, this thing is spicy. I have to look up the exact tow rating on it. The trailer is going to be well below it. But my trailer is 14,000 pounds GVWR. This truck is 12. We're at 26 combined. That's why I went for the 350. And I was so glad that this truck was still in inventory and I was able to get it. Now, I think it was on stop sale for a while because of an issue. I'm not sure what, but very, very lucky to be able to have this truck and, you know, of course, get the spec that I wanted, which is this right here. The exterior color I was a little less particular on, but man, this interior is so freaking nice. And the sound system is really good on initial impression. So even here, just cruising around town, we're gonna vary the speed a little bit, put some more load in the engine, get a little bit more boost, a little more rev as we start to get some miles and some heat into it. I can pull up my diesel temperature gauges, which is a great feature to have so many gauges on this truck. And I've got, 195 degrees on oil. We're nice and warm. Wow. Just having that nice 6.7 diesel engine under there sounds amazing. There's not much I can do to the exhaust because, of course, I can't delete this truck. Some of you guys said, delete it. I just can't. We're on YouTube. I don't want to mess with that. I don't want to get in trouble. We're not going to delete it. But I can do a DPF back exhaust, which will change the note a little bit. Actually, my next door neighbor has a 6.7 with the Banks exhaust. That's probably what I'll do. And it sounds pretty much the same, little bit deeper tone, and I would consider doing that. And yeah, that's it. This is my first drive in the truck. So this is my new tow rig, and I'll finish up with a final clip, some final thoughts, and then in the next video you can join me for a road trip. I'm gonna get some food and some drink, and I haven't had anything to eat yet today, so there's a Starbucks just up here in view, perfect. And then we're gonna jump onto I-20 and start a long ass drive. Can't wait to go for the first trip. Man, this thing gets off the line pretty well too, and I'm just touching it. I'm not here to romp on it while it's fresh. Oh, I love this truck. I feel like I made the right decision getting a 6.7 Power Stroke, and the seating position's great. The truck just feels amazing to drive. Couldn't be happier. Well, first stop had to be a Starbucks. By the way, I gotta show you guys this. The camera system in here, super nice 360-degree cams. I can even load up a trailer camera on here, which would be this plus camera. It's not plugged in. Obviously, I don't have a trailer hooked up. But I think they did a really nice job with this whole backup camera situation. And because this is a model year 24, if I drop the tailgate, you'll notice that this goes down. Oh wait, that's the front camera. Hold on, let me show you guys this. Rear cam, this right here. So that's the rear camera with the tailgate down. There's actually a camera on the outside of the tailgate. Now, they canceled this for 2025. You'll see as it comes up, it'll switch from the sort of, normal view to the other view, which is great. So this is the normal backup camera. As it comes down, it switches cameras. I'll show you that. They switched this for 2025 because I think they were getting some water intrusion into the sensors, which wasn't great. So I've got parking sensors if I'm pulling up to a gooseneck or a fifth wheel, and there's that top camera as well as the bottom camera. Just really cool to have all of those cameras all around the truck, and pretty excited about that. So in general, I don't know how long until that running board breaks. I'm not sure, but we've got a warranty for a while. We've got moving pedals. That's cool. Man, I love this. My main concern is not adding to this wear. I'm kind of bummed that this is kind of worn like this. But I looked at every other Limited on the market and they were honestly worse. So I got the best starting point, but that is the one concern. So we just need to go up and over the bolster to not wrinkle that anymore. Well, guys, just grabbed a quick coffee over here before we hit the road, and I could not be more thrilled with this truck. I keep saying it, but I have wanted a diesel pickup truck forever. And I really feel like this is one of those bucket list items to check. It's even better that we actually do need the capability of this truck. We honestly probably could have gotten away with a 250, but I just thought if you can get a 350, that's 100 better than 250. Let's go for it. And it means we can do more stuff with the truck in the future. I mean, there's just so many things happening at Out of Spec that you never really can predict too far out in the future. And who knows what we're going to need to do with this truck. And I thought, let's get the most capability we possibly can. And here we have it. You know, first things first, we really need to black out all this chrome. The Limited trim has the most amazing interior, but I'm just not into all of this. It's a very simple thing to fix, so we're just going to get it kind of dialed in. It's got that, very nose heavy rake, so, it's kind of tilted like this so that when you do put some weight on the rear, it levels out. But maybe we'll do a leveling kit, maybe not. Maybe it'll sit great with my trailer. Maybe I don't need to touch the suspension at all. I kind of don't want to touch the suspension at least, and just kind of leave it, again, for its intended purpose, which is not to be a show truck, not to be, anything super show-offy. I just kind of want an understated black truck, get rid of all the chrome, and then just have a beautiful interior with a great sound system to cover huge miles with. And man, does it look great in black right now. I can guarantee you at the end of this road trip, it's not going to be looking nearly as pretty as this is right here. I think my main issue with the looks on the 350 versus the 450 is there's just no muscle here. Now they do make some arches that you can stick on, or maybe we can even get the F450 fenders on this thing somehow. There's ways to modify it, but the dually 450 just looks 100 times better than this up front. We just, again, couldn't go for it because of the weight ratings. Maybe one day in the future we'll get a CDL or get a car hauler that has a bedroom and a bathroom in it and can be considered an RV. But for now, I really think this truck is going to satisfy our needs for many years to come. Couldn't be happier with it, truly. So with all that said, we'll make sure the hubs are unlocked for the big trip. I guess they're set in auto mode. I'll double check them, and then we'll be good to go. Can't wait. Should be an awesome road trip. We've got many miles ahead. Let's freaking do it. Thank you so much for watching. That's the truck. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I know you will anyway. Plenty of videos to come with this thing, road tripping it, modifying it, doing fun stuff with it. And this channel is about to turn into a truck channel, at least for the next few months. Thanks for watching. See you in another one again soon. Bye-bye.